Let me tell you about something that happened in our village of Mbale a few years ago. It's a story that many still talk about during the Harmattan season when the winds carry whispers of the past. I witnessed part of it myself, and the rest I heard from the people involved. It's about the great festival and how faith and determination saved a family and perhaps the entire village. Our village, small but lively, is nestled between two hills. Every year we hold the Festival of the Drums, which is more than just a celebration. It's our way of honoring the ancestors and the spirits of the land. People come from neighboring villages to join us. The drumming, dancing, and feasting last for 3 days and nights. The highlight is always the final night, when the lead drummer, the Odogwu Enkwu, performs. His drum speaks to the spirits and ensures that the next year will be prosperous. Without the lead drummer, the festival cannot reach its peak. The lead drummer that year was Kelechi, a young man with hands that seemed blessed by the gods themselves. When Kelechi played, it was as if the earth vibrated to his rhythms. He came from a family of drummers. His father and grandfather had been Odogwu Nkwu before him. Everyone respected him, not just for his talent, but for his humility and kindness. The week before the festival, the entire village buzzed with excitement. Women pounded yam and ground pepper for the feasts, while men cleared the village square. Kelechi spent his days in his compound, practicing with his father's old drum, which was said to hold the spirit of an ancestor. His younger brother, Chidi, who was always by his side, told me later that Kelechi barely ate or spoke to anyone that week. Then, just 3 days before the festival, Kelechi disappeared. It was Chidi who raised the alarm. Early in the morning, he ran through the village shouting, "Kelechi is gone! My brother is gone!" Everyone thought he might have gone to the forest to meditate, as many drummers did before the festival. But when the day ended and there was still no sign of him, worry crept into our hearts. His mother, Mama Kelechi, wept bitterly. She kept saying, "Kelechi would never leave us without a word. Something has happened to him." His father, a proud man, sat silently, gripping his walking stick. The village elders gathered and sent search parties to the surrounding forests and hills. I was part of one of those groups. We combed through the bushes, calling his name, but there was no answer. By the second day, rumors began to spread. Some said he had been taken by the forest spirits. Others whispered that a jealous rival might have done something to him. A few even claimed he had run away with a woman from another village. But I knew Kelechi. He wasn't the kind of man to abandon his family or his duty. As the festival drew closer, tension gripped the village. Without Kelechi, there could be no grand finale. People feared that the spirits would be angry and bring misfortune upon us. Mama Kelechi's weeping became louder, and Chidi, usually so cheerful, walked around like a shadow of himself. That night, something strange happened. I was sitting outside my hut, staring at the moon, when I saw an old woman walking through the village. She carried a long staff and wore a wrapper that looked as though it had seen many seasons. Her back was bent, but her steps were steady. She stopped at Mama Kelechi's compound and called out, "Where is the father of the missing drummer?" Mama Kelechi came out, wiping her tears, and the old woman asked to see Kelechi's father. When the man appeared, the old woman looked him in the eye and said, "Your son is alive, but his path is blocked by darkness. If you want him to return, you must act quickly, gather your family and pray through the night." Now, Kelechi's father was not a man of much faith. He had always relied on his strength and skill to solve problems. But that night, perhaps because of the desperation in his wife's eyes, he agreed. The family gathered around the old drum in their compound and began to pray. Mama Kelechi led the prayers, her voice trembling but firm. Soon neighbors joined them, and by midnight, the entire village was awake, praying and singing. The next morning, just as the sun began to rise, Chidi burst into the village square shouting, "He's back! Kelechi is back!" We all ran to their compound and found Kelechi sitting by the old drum, his clothes torn and his body covered in scratches. He looked exhausted, but unharmed. When he saw us, he managed a weak smile and said, "I was lost, but I found my way back." Later, when he had rested, Kelechi told us what happened. On the morning he disappeared, he had gone to the forest to gather special leaves for a ritual. But as he walked deeper, he realized he was no longer on a familiar path. No matter how much he tried to retrace his steps, he only seemed to go deeper into the forest. "At first, I thought it was just my mind playing tricks on me," he said. "But then I felt it, a heavy presence, like something was watching me. I knew I wasn't alone." Kelechi said he prayed and tried to stay calm, but as night fell, strange sounds began to surround him, whispers, footsteps, and the distant beat of a drum. "I was terrified," he admitted, "but then I remembered what my mother always told me. When you are lost, call on the ancestors." He began to sing one of the songs his father had taught him, a song that called the spirits of the ancestors. As he sang, he heard a faint drumming in the distance. He followed the sound and eventually found himself at the edge of the forest, just as the first light of dawn broke. The festival went ahead as planned, and Kelechi's performance that night was unlike anything we had ever heard. His drums spoke with a power that seemed to shake the heavens. Many said it was the ancestors themselves playing through him. Since that day, Kelechi's story has been a reminder to us all. It's not just about talent or strength. Sometimes, when the path is dark, it's faith and the prayers of loved ones that light the way. And in our village, we never forget to honor the spirits and thank the ancestors for guiding us. So, the next time you hear the drums of Mbale, remember Kelechi and the power of prayer. It's a story that lives in every beat of the festival, a reminder that no one is ever truly lost when they have faith.